Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. It is Saturday, October 29th. A little spooky Saturday. I'm your host, Jon June. And of course, this guy to my left, Greg Penniman, aka G Money. What's good?
What's going on, people? I'm chilling, man. Good Thursday night game for sure. Entertaining, slow first half. Basically a game of two halves feels like, but good to see that Ravens got that dub. Can't believe seeing Tom Brady wasn't the first time in 20 years and his career. Same thing. Like that's how long he's been playing pretty much. So 3 losses in a row, man. 2 games on the 500 ever. First time too. A lot of mind-mental things going on in this man's life. So maybe this is the turnaround. Hopefully.
Yeah. I guess we'll just jump right into Thursday night football. It didn't look good for the Bucs. I think they said on the broadcast that he lost. I think he had a 4-game losing streak in like 2000 in the 2000s, and has gone 300 and it was like 305 consecutive games or something like that without losing 3 straight. Yeah, he doesn't look good. That Bucs offense doesn't look good. Brady was saying in the post game that they're dealing with a lot of new pieces, a lot of moving parts and things like that. But we saw he had a miscommunication with Mike Evans, and he's been playing with Mike Evans for 3 seasons now, right? So I'm not saying that Brady is Father Time eventually catches up to everybody, and he's clearly not what he was, just a few years ago. But at the same time, there's the offensive line isn't playing well. I feel like the coaching, like time management and just aggressiveness in terms of play calling. I know that's something Todd Bowles has struggled with. So I don't think it's going to get any better is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's going to get better. I know I was negative coming into the game about Brady and how, his prospects for fantasy relevance, and did have a decent day actually but it was all garbage time. I mean, with I think like 4 minutes left, he had only 264 yards and don't think he had a touchdown at that point. But yeah, essentially, it just wasn't a great night for Brady or the Bucs offense overall.
Yeah, it's just they got to get some timing right with getting those touchdowns. Like definitely not like worried about the receivers because they're going. Evans and Godwin are the only 2 that's going to get really the ball. So for fantasy wise, I would still be confident in them. And if the Bucs defense has been struggling, it seems like Brady's going to have to put up a lot of pass attempts. Put up 44 last night. That last game where they had a pretty big game was when they were getting blown out by Kansas City too, and that I was in comeback mode. So seems like they're gonna struggle this all season pretty much to be in competitive games. Yeah, it's tough. Definitely the story was that man Isaiah Likely, man. If once Mark Andrews decides to call it a career, or if they decide they wanna move Mark Andrews some.
Mark Andrews is still like 25 or 26. Trying to push him
Once they decide. I can't see them using like in this offense. I can't ever see both of them succeeding in a way. So one of them's got to go, or one of them's got to get traded.
I don't know if that's true though. Just look at the style of offense that they play.
They've never had 2 tight ends thrive in this offense in the Lamar era.
They've never had 2 tight ends this talented. I mean, why can't they be like a version of? They did have Hayden Hurst, but Hayden Hurst was he was used primarily as a blocker. But I'm just saying, like, they don't have much receiving threats, right? Like it's Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay. Like you could put two tight ends on the field, right? We've seen it be successful in other offenses. The problem is, are both of them going to put up 1,200 yards? No, but you could have
No,
a
exactly.
season.
That's
Yeah,
thriving.
no, I mean, you had Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith finish as top 12 tight ends. You've had Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski finish as top 2 tight ends. Like, I don't think it's impossible in this particular offense that thrives off running the football, in which 2 tight ends would be really beneficial to have on the football field, is all I'm saying. Especially with
Yeah,
Mark
to
Andrews.
block for the runners, for the running
Yes,
backs.
block for the runners, and then you mix in some play action, but just having them on the field, it's not even just blocking, right? It just depends how do teams choose to line up against you? Because if teams choose to put up their big personnel, well, guess what? Now you can spread them out and throw the football. So I mean, we see them run Patrick Ricard out on routes all the time, right? Like Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews could coexist in this offense. This is hypothetical, but it's what who's their top receiving threats? Who?
Mark Andrews,
It's
whoever the starting
exactly
tight
it.
end is, that's
But
it.
we've seen
That's what you need.
Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown coexist. We've even seen Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman coexist. So like we could have two tight. Like I'm not gonna say that two tight ends can't coexist in this offense. Like they totally can. They absolutely can.
Yeah, I mean they should try, but I mean it's week 8, and this is
I
his
mean, he's
first.
a rookie. He's a rookie. Like he's a rookie. They haven't even had the bye week yet. Like they don't want to put too much up on this plate, but my man had an opportunity. I bet you right now, after this game, when Mark Andrews comes back healthy, Isaiah Likely will not disappear. Like there's no way. He's out of the box now. You've opened the box, you can't close it.
I hope so. I hope so. They should just play a lot of
I
more
mean, the
contested
Ravens are a
sets.
smart football team. John Harbaugh, smart coach. Like they're gonna do this. They're gonna figure it out, right? I have faith in their ability to coach rationally.
I do. I mean, the first half I didn't because I don't know who that Ravens team was passing the ball like that. But the second half they came back to who they were, which is running the football, and they scored a touchdown. It seemed like they were unstoppable in the second half because they literally just did what they always do, is just run the football.
I don't know if you saw the post game, but Richard Sherman was saying that he's like they were just trying stuff in the first
Yeah,
half.
I don't know what that was in the first
he
half.
was
That
like
was crazy.
he's like they came out 30 pass attempts in the first half. They was just trying stuff against a Tom Brady led football team. How many times you ever seen somebody try something against a Tom Brady led football team? They were just trying things in the first half because they knew they were like, oh well, we're just gonna run the football in the second half and win this thing and go home.
That was
I
wild,
mean,
yo.
Devin White, the linebacker for Tampa Bay, I've not watched all his football games, but this has got to be one of the worst football games that he's ever played. I mean, my man was getting, I don't know if you were seeing during the game, they were highlighting it, but he was getting tackled like 5-10 yards, or not tackled, blocked 5-10 yards down the field, just completely being erased from the play. And that's why you see all these running lanes for Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson and company. So it's unfortunate we had 3 Ravens players leave with injuries. That was the only bad on the Ravens side. We talked about a little bit about Mark Andrews, alluded to it. Left with a shoulder injury very early. Had 2 catches for, I believe, 43 yards or something like that in the first half. And then Rashad Bateman, who re-aggravated his foot injury, he did not score any points. So just a nice donut, which if you started him in Thursday Night Football, that kind of sucks. And I did that in quite a couple leagues. So just staring at it sucks. But um, we'll see the long term, prognosis on those guys. They don't play another football game for, I think, or they play one football game in the next 23 days, I think that they said, or 22 days or 21 days. Because they have they played on Thursday night and then they have a game and then they have a bye. So it's it's coming at the right time for this Ravens team that has to get hot now if they want to make a playoff run, especially in that tough AFC North with the Bengals.
Yeah, for sure. And Gus too going down, running really well as well. Seemed like, yeah, definitely tough for them. Hopefully they can get healthy, for sure.
Yeah, the injury for Gus, I believe, was a hamstring that they reported. So, definitely when you saw the way his leg bent, kind of, you might have been concerned that he maybe aggravated the knee injury from last year, but looks like a hamstring injury. So, um, yeah. Well, speaking of injuries, um, there was two players ruled out from games that we spoke about yesterday. In the Arizona game, James Conner, he's been ruled out with with the rib injury, which is kind of interesting because he practiced in limited fashion Wednesday, Thursday, and even the week prior before their Thursday night game against New Orleans, but he then didn't practice on Friday. So it's almost as if it was aggravated or it got worse. But he's been ruled out. Daryl Williams looks like will return. But how do you see this backfield shaking out this week? Do you think we get one more week of and I can't even give the person credit, but because I saw it on Twitter, but we get another week of Eno Grigio here.
Yeah, I mean, Benjamin's definitely going to be, I think, the leader for touches on this team. Maybe sprinkling on Darrell Williams, but if I'm starting someone, it's going to be, Benjamin. Expecting, RB2 floor, and hopefully, get into this end zone and then possibly, a good matchup in a hopefully high scoring game.
Yeah, definitely like the matchup here for Benjamin. So, was highly utilized in terms of touches. Those touches came through last week. They didn't come through the week before, but um definitely looking forward to another week of Benjamin, getting the work as a lead back for Arizona. The other injury that was one that was on the fence. We were on the fence about potentially yesterday, or 2 days ago when we were discussing it, was the Ezekiel Elliott injury. Um, Seems like the Cowboys are holding him out. Believe they go on bye next week as well. So they will hold him out this week, then get a bye week, so he'll get a couple weeks rest. Um, but this pretty much is the unlocks Tony Pollard for this week.
Yeah, definitely unlock Solly Pollard. We already know this is a good spot for both these running backs against Chicago. Um, yeah, I mean, anytime we, Tony Pollard's one of those players. He has standalone volume, but he definitely was a guy you're here for this moment for when he can make games when he can blow up and have like top 5 days. So this is definitely a good moment for it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's break down some of today's games, or the rest of the games that we have to discuss today, which is all the 4 p.m. games and the primetime games. And then obviously, as we always do, starts the week and play some get money. So let's start with the 4-2 Tennessee Titans traveling to Houston and take on the 1-4-1 Houston Texans. This game has a 40.5 point total, where the Tennessee Titans are 1.5 point favorites. Game is played in a dome, so there's no weather concerns. Wide receiver Nico Collins, he was questionable with the groin. It seemed doubtful that he would play. Um, so yeah, I don't think he's going to play for Houston. They have a bunch of other guys questionable on the Tennessee side. Ryan Tannehill, who suffered an ankle injury in the game, returned to the game. Only missed, I believe, one snap, and has been truly questionable, it seems, all week. And Malik Willis, the third round pick quarterback from Liberty, could make his first start, assuming Tannehill doesn't play, which is in when you think about the Titans offense, you don't get excited about that. But when you think about the ability of Malik Willis, who is a very good athlete and can run the football, that's intriguing for fantasy. So if you're playing in a 2 quarterback league, I would highly suggest just picking up Malik Willis. if you have an extra spot on your bench, and just seeing what potentially happens in one quarterback leagues. I don't think there's any you know rush to go pick him up. Just I think we see how his game plays out, or if it even gets an opportunity. But in two quarterback leagues, I think it's definitely worth having on your bench in case Tannehill is ruled out. But Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive lineman, he was DNP with an ankle. Kyle Phillips, the wide receiver, he was placed on injured reserve with a hamstring injury, and then they have a bunch of other guys questionable. Greg, where are you leaning with this game?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Titans to cover still and the Titans to win. Um, Regardless of who was starting at quarterback, I mean, this offense, this game was, really not many people I'm looking to really must start in this category. Definitely Derrick Henry though. You're putting him out there as a top 5 play at the running back position. Um, yeah, it's really tough to make a case for Robert Woods unless you're like in a super deep league and you're pretty desperate. But I think at the wide receiver position, you can always find maybe a Sunday popular play, maybe from an injury or maybe in a shootout game to play from because I'm already taking the under. I can't see this game getting getting close to 35, 40 points. So it's gonna be tough on the Houston side though. Um, Damian Pierce also, the RB1 option, and it's tougher even the receivers for the Houston side as well. I mean, Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks, I think have more relevance than Robert Woods. I think both of them are kind of in that wide receiver 3 category for me. So if you want to put them out there, is that's pretty good. And that's pretty much who I'm looking at for sure in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over here in this game. I'm taking Tennessee to cover, Tennessee to win. For Houston, Damian Pierce, he's an RB1. The volume is crazy for him right now. What he's seeing in terms of rush attempts and team rush attempts. Davis Mills, your stream of the week, Greg. He's a quarterback two, higher end quarterback two in this matchup against Tennessee. But he may be without Nico Collins, so that's. I mean, he did fine. He lost Nico Collins early in the game week, but if him and Cooks can go, I see them as wide receiver threes. I mean, Cooks is a wide receiver three. He hasn't been great at all. So neither has Robert Woods, but Brandon Cooks. It's like I'm not can't even come up with a very good analogy right now in this moment, but uh, Cooks basically has the bar is not very high for Cooks to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
better than Robert Woods. He has not been good so far this year. Um, just which is odd because we've seen him good regardless of who the quarterback is, or he's been effective, but he's been the same over these last few weeks. On the Tennessee side, Derrick Henry has like the RB1 upside this week. We saw what Josh Jacobs did against this Houston defense last week, which is partially why I do have this game hitting the over because yeah, I mean, your stream of the week is in this game in Davis Mills, and Damian Pierce is a good player, and he's got a decent matchup. It's decent, but the volume should be there. And then Derrick Henry, is probably he's gonna have one of those games. It's gonna be one of those games for Derrick Henry this week.
yeah.
So
I'm definitely hoping so. Like close to maybe getting close to that 200-yard number, maybe. But yeah, I'm feeling that classic AFC South, just ugly game as well too.
All right, let's move on to the New York Giants, the 6-1 New York Giants, traveling to Seattle to take on the 4-3 Seattle Seahawks. This game has a 45.5 point total. The Seattle Seahawks are 3-point favorites at home. There's rain forecasted for this game. For the New York Giants, Kenny Galladay was a DMP with a knee injury. Evan Neal is questionable with a knee injury. He's week to week. They have a bunch of other guys questionable. For Seattle, DK Metcalf was a DMP with a knee injury. Pete Carroll will not rule him out, though. So You know, good old optimistic Pete. But and they have a bunch of other guys questionable for Seattle. I'm gonna take the under on 45.5. I'm gonna take the New York Giants to cover, and I'm gonna take the New York Giants to win this game. Daniel Jones, his legs are gonna always keep him in the conversation for QB1. I mean, he towards like the middle of the season, he wasn't running really, but we knew he was playing through a high ankle sprain. And last week he wasn't on the injury report. He came out, ran for 100 yards. Brian Dayball said the ankle's not an issue right now as well. So I think he's got to be treated as a QB1. Saquon, he's an RB1. Wandale Robinson. The matchup isn't necessarily great the last 3 weeks. Seattle's gotten a little bit better as an overall defense, and they've gotten a little bit better against the wide receiver position. So Wandale, for me, is a wide receiver 3, but definitely a high floor with that volume that he should get. And then for Seattle, Kenneth Walker, got to be an RB1. The volume is great, and he's been a great running back. Period. So, continue to roll him out there. Tyler Lockett, a high-end wide receiver too, without DK Metcalf. Geno Smith I will treat him as a QB1 for me this week. And then Marquise Goodwin, had the big game, scored 2 touchdowns last week, but he's going to be a wide receiver 3 for me without Metcalf.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take tough, but I'm gonna take the Giants to cover and the Giants to win as well. On the Giants side, I agree. I mean, Daniel Jones, yeah, his rostership went up crazy this week as it should. Definitely a good, streaming play entering the week. I think he's always gonna have his capability to get into that QB1 territory because yeah, he's just been really balling out with his legs. And Saquon Barkley, your must start category as well. You're putting him out there, RB1 play. Wanda Robinson's definitely come as the receiver you want in this offense. I think I would treat him as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 category, depending on how the game goes. If they're going to get some passes up and maybe hopefully get a touchdown. Um, Daniel Bellinger as well as always a streaming tight end every week.
Daniel Bellinger, you cannot stream this week at all.
Oh,
You're
man.
not stream him for the next 6 weeks because he had eye surgery.
Yeah. Then
I,
Wendell
I did not.
Robinson's later on.
I did not mention. I can't believe I didn't mention that. But yeah, I mean, he's out
Yeah,
for like.
yeah, stuff. So Seattle side, I mean, yeah, Kenneth Walker been an absolute monster last couple weeks since taking on that starting position. He keep rolling him out there as an RB1 as well. Tyler Lockett putting him out there as a low end wide receiver 2 category, especially with DK Metcalf being banged up. And yeah, I'm not very high on Geno Smith this week. New York the Giants defense is pretty good. I think I have him as more high in QB2 territory. But yeah, it should be again. I think I'm taking the under. A tough playing game. Hopefully the Giants defense can carry again.
Yep. Do have a question. Hey guys, from Jeb Armstrong. Hey guys, should I trade Tua and Kadarius Toney for James Conner? I personally would aim higher. James
Yeah,
Conner's injured.
definitely aim higher.
Don't even know if he has that job. Um,
I
like,
mean, yeah, your other quarterback must be like Josh Allen or something like that, or
yeah, I mean, you've got to. I don't know. Yeah, who do
your
you
other
have?
yeah,
You're giving up. You're willing to give up Tua.
will
It's
of
got to be
getting
like
yeah
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, or somebody you feel really good about. Um, you
For
know,
injured player, yeah. For a player that's injured that could get injured in any week, that's not an RB1. Yeah, I'm looking to get an RB1 at least in this.
Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. He
There you
says
go.
the other guys
Yeah,
basically will never start on my team. Got it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I honestly, I would probably try to go get,
Ramondre Stevenson maybe. Like
yeah, maybe, but maybe Aaron Jones. Somebody is down on him. Um, I know, Greg, you might not be a fan of this one. But I would say, oh, Jeb says he also has so this would be locking up that backfield. Um,
So
yeah,
James and a receiver back then, like
yeah, I would, maybe try to get like another wide receiver
wide receiver
or
two.
something to make this a little bit better because just getting like you could just be getting James Conner and then he could be put on injured reserve tomorrow and then you just basically traded two players for a player and then you already had Benjamin anyway. All right, well, yeah, go get another wide receiver or maybe upgrade at tight end, or something to that effect. Um, Mark Yasko says Benjamin or Devontae Smith this week. Those are two very good options. If it's PPR, I lean Devontae Smith because he's got crazy upside.
Yeah, I'm going Devontae Smith as well. If yeah, that both those receivers should just have a monster day, hopefully.
Um, and then Mark Grefford says I'm 3-3 half PPR with JT Swift, Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CD, Goddard, and Dak. On the bench, I have Rashad White, AJ Dillon, I'm assuming, George Pickens, Isaiah Pacheco. I have two holes because of Brees and Jamar. You're just bragging now. Who do I go after? 3-3 and a half PPR. Who do you go after? I mean, I guess it would depend on who's available.
As far as like a trade or for like, type waiver wires, or
Thinking
I guess the adding at this point.
waiver wire additions. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of just fill your bench with players that have an opportunity to have like major upside, right? So, if a Khalil Herbert is out there, you want to make sure that you have him, or um, one of these backup running backs that has an opportunity to you know land in a spot where they have like league winning upside. So, um, DJ Dallas is somebody that I've been picking up, in leagues because if Kenneth Walker, decides that he doesn't want to play football this week, DJ Dallas probably is the guy that gets the bulk of that work. Greg, do you have any other suggestions?
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe if Kadarius Toney's available, just so you have a stash, possibly if that get hit out. But yeah, definitely for if you're trying to add someone, not looking for getting a trade, I think um, getting some running backs that can come in because I'm sure people added like uh, a Tony Pollard, Khalil Herbert, coming into the week, and now they can be able to start them
Mhm.
at a high clip.
Yeah. Another name that I've been saying is Elijah Moore. I think the Brees Hall injury, the squeaky wheel gets the grease narrative, the fact that Corey Davis is not playing. I feel like Elijah Moore is gonna be involved this week. So I'm not picking him up and starting him, but I am picking him up and just kind of seeing what happens. I'm willing to play him in some DFS spots as well. So um, all right, let's move on to talking about the games. If you have more questions, guys, just throw them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. Next up is the 3-4 Washington Commanders traveling to Indianapolis to take on the 3-1 Indianapolis Colts. This game has a 40.5 point total, where the Indianapolis Colts are 2.5 point home favorites here. In terms of this game here, uh, this is played in a dome, so no concerns there. Indianapolis linebacker Shaq Leonard, he was a full participant with a back injury, expected to play this week and return to action. Quiddy Pay, the defensive lineman, he's questionable. Well, actually, he's been ruled out. And then for Washington, Logan Thomas, he's questionable for this game with a calf. Diami Brown, he was limited, with a groin injury. And then Jahan Dotson, the rookie wide receiver, he's most likely out of this game with a hamstring. They have a few other guys questionable. Um, Greg, where are you going with this game here?
Taking the under, I'm just keep hammering unders on his games. Taking Commanders cover and the Commanders to win. As far as the game, it's tough because a lot of these players, got a lot of injuries first of all, and also just a lot of these players in fantasy haven't been, living to what you would expect it to be this year. You got rumors that the Commanders are shopping Antonio Gibson, so that uh, probably doesn't help him for. They're not gonna either gonna show him off or they're just gonna hold him and not try to get him injured. So possibly I would probably stay away from AG. Brian Robinson, I think, has low in RB2 value. Uh, for the receivers, it's really tough. None of them really showed out last week. Jahan Dotson does have the injury, so you hope Terry McLaurin could have opportunity, but we've been waiting for that big game for all year, pretty much from McLaurin. Curtis Samuel's been just a underwhelming, wide receiver 3 floor. Um, could maybe possibly get you some the highest he gets you wide receiver 2 upside, but he's mostly like a flex floor. And then on the indie side, we're still waiting for, after week 1, we're still waiting for that blow up game from JT as well. So it's really tough. I mean, I kind of always have to like rate JT as a low end RB1. Hopefully you get an RB1 upside, possibly even he's looking like an RB2 right now. And as far as the receivers, I'm willing to start Michael Pittman uh, as a must start, and that's really about it. It's really tough with these offenses getting injuries to both their quarterbacks. A lot of the people we thought coming into the year would be great haven't been great, so it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, this game has the makings of one of those just because of the quarterbacks. Like it could be sloppy in terms of, um, like we might have interceptions. Like Taylor Heineke had 2 pick sixes called back last week.
Yeah,
Um, so I feel like those things could still happen. Um, and just the fact that both these quarterbacks are mobile, which means that I feel like they'll probably extend some plays and make some plays that maybe a Matt Ryan, speaking specifically Sam Ellinger here, Matt Ryan probably couldn't make. So I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Colts to cover. I'm going to take the Colts to win, mainly because Washington's been, a team that you can run the football on. And JT, I think this has to be a get right spot for him. Last week I had him ranked as closer to an RB2. This week it is on the borderline of an RB1. I think I have him on RB11. So just right inside there. He is coming off that ankle injury, so he's probably getting healthier as the weeks progress. So I definitely like this spot for him. Michael Pittman Jr. I would treat him as a wide receiver too. Wasn't getting any downfield targets from Matt Ryan. Did that maybe that had something to do with the shoulder injury? So hopefully Sam Ellinger can come in here and put the ball down the field. Ellinger is also interesting in 2 quarterback leagues. Ran the ball a bunch at Texas at the University of Texas, and is running the football. He ran the football a little bit in the preseason and should use his legs in this game as well. Not touching this offense, the rest of this offense for now. Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell, those are guys that like Alec Pierce, I can keep an eye on from my bench. Paris Campbell, I'll keep an eye on from the waiver wire. Mainly because Pierce is, he's a rookie, he's talented, and he should progress and become better as the year goes on. Terry, for me, the matchup's not great. Stephon Gilmore has been really good this year against wide receivers, and the Colts in general have been good against wide receivers. So Terry McLaurin, um, I know Taylor Heineke means he targeted him a decent amount last week and should continue to target him. So I think that alone should give you hope. We know the talent Terry is, so maybe you treat him as like a wide receiver 3. Um, he was in a tough matchup last week too when you think about it. But again, hopefully he was more involved, so hopefully that continues. And then Curtis Samuel, I agree with what you're saying. He hasn't been super productive. Still has a high target share. It's low A dot targets though. He's got a 5.1 average depth of target on the season. So he's basically taking over like JD McKissick's role when you think about it. I would play both the Washington running backs. I think they're both RB3s. Uh, Brian Robinson had more volume last week, but he's touchdown dependent. Like if he doesn't get a touchdown, because all he's getting is those carries, and then got 2 targets last week. But he really needs that touchdown to really make his day. Antonio Gibson didn't have as much volume. I know the trade rumors came out, but I think Ron Rivera came out and said that he's absolutely not getting traded. So um, I think that's just they're gonna operate as normal this week with Gibson, and he was efficient and he was good on the opportunities that he had. So yeah, that's all I got for this game.
Yeah.
Mark Grefford is saying, sorry if I wasn't clear. I was wondering about trades I could make. So trades you could make. I mean, all your guys are guys that I would have tried to trade for. Like Jonathan Taylor, I would be trying to trade for right now. DeAndre Swift, I would have been trying to trade for. Um, you have Goddard, so you're set at tight end. Maybe no CD Lamb. I think he was having a good season thus far. Um, and Dak is going to get healthier. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want to trade Richard to the Fournette manager for a piece there. And try to get
maybe I'll try to trade Isaiah Pacheco.
back,
Maybe that's
yeah,
the one because you could well, I don't know. It might be low because
yeah.
he didn't have a great
When you
game
get him
last
back,
week.
yeah. The value you could get back from that Fournette owner, if anything, or the Aaron Jones owner,
But I kind of
manager.
I want I want Rashad White on my team because Fournette has never played a full season in the NFL.
Right, yeah, yeah. So you're just waiting though for that
Yeah.
that possible injury. He's 3-3. He's trying to probably get some wins.
Sorry, he says he's
Oh,
3-4.
3-4. Yeah, he's trying to get some wins. Trying to put some people in the starting lineup instead of waiting for that opportunity when Fournette possibly could get hurt or not, and then you're just like sitting there with Rashad White on your bench. Um,
Um,
so like, you could trade for like a Ramondre, trade for I don't know. Even I mean, possibly you could try to buy low on DJ Moore right now. Even
yeah,
it's
you
super
have
low.
to do it before tomorrow.
Yeah,
Maybe you package like Rashad White and George Pickens, and you go get like a Chris Olave, AJ Dillon, and George Pickens. Try to get into like Olave would be somebody that I would really be trying to get, but it might be too late. Gabe Davis is another name that maybe you could try to buy, and just adding to the winning argument, he has a lot of volatility. Almost like Mike Williams type, where he might have like a single digit day, but he's also capable of putting up like a 30-point day. So, and those win you weeks, and you're kind of missing that without Jamar Chase. So maybe I would go try to get like a Gabe Davis um, or Chris Olave, or somebody to that effect.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to this next game here. The 3-4 San Francisco 49ers travel into LA to take on the 3-3 LA Rams. This game has a 42.5 point total, where the Los Angeles Rams are 1.5 point road dogs. In terms of the weather is okay in this game. Um, in terms of injuries, Darrell Henderson, the running back, was removed from the injury report. He was dealing with an illness. Um, the wide receiver Brandon Powell, he was limited in practice with an ankle. Kyron Williams, the running back, the rookie, was designated to return from injured reserve, and Cam Akers has been ruled out of this game naturally, as we expected. And in terms of the Niners, Deebo Samuel dealing with a hamstring all week. He's been ruled out of this game. Samson Ebukam, he's limited with an ankle or an Achilles rather. Jawan Jennings, DNP with a hamstring. Jason Verrett, the corner, limited participant in practice, but he's questionable. I think he's returned from an injury actually. Eric Armstead, he's questionable with the foot. Dre Greenlaw, questionable with a calf, and then Kyle Juszczyk is doubtful with a broken finger. That kind of sucks there for the 49ers. I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take the Niners to cover. I'm going to take the Niners to win. Um, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1. Darrell Henderson, an RB 2 or 3 for me. Tyler Higbee, a tight end 1. And I think you could play Allen Robinson in a pinch. Like in a pinch, you could play him. Seattle or San Francisco allows the sixth most fantasy points to wide receivers over the last 3 weeks. Allen Robinson had the good game before the bye week. Bye week's an opportunity for him to get more involved. Also, an opportunity for maybe Stafford to get a little bit healthier. So I think you could play him in a pinch. And then for San Francisco, CMC is an RB2. Brandon Ayuk is a wide receiver. I'm saying I think he's a wide receiver 2 actually, without Deebo Samuel, who is actually the Ram killer. So maybe there is, that leads some credence to the Rams potentially pulling this one out. But Kittle, he's in a tough matchup. The Rams are the 32nd. They allow the 32nd most fantasy points to the tight end position over these last 3 weeks. So, did I not even give my picks?
You did.
I did give my picks. Okay.
Mm.
And then Kittle is they allow the 32nd most fantasy points to the tight end position, but Kittle's been solid. Coming back from that injury, he's had a much better 2 weeks, so I think you got to continue to roll him out there, especially without Deebo Samuel. CMC.
Yeah, hopefully this is definitely the game. I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take San Fran to cover and San Fran to win. Um, yeah, on the San Fran side, I'm with you. Your CMC, this is why they traded for him. Now we're second week. Hopefully they got the playbook down. They got everything right. So I'm putting CMC out there. As you would expect CMC to be. I'm hoping that he can has that RB1 upside in this one and it shows out. So you're starting him. Brandon Ayuk, I'm playing out there as a wide receiver 2. And George Kittle, you're playing him as a tight end. He's a must start every week, even in the tough matchup. But this is why you drafted George Kittle so highly. On the Rams side, Darrell Henderson has some low end RB2 vibe for me. Cooper Kupp must start always every week. I can't really touch anyone else, especially not Van Jefferson's back too, so that doesn't even help Allen Robinson. It's time. Like if anything, Van Jefferson got to get maybe some. That could be a possible stash for me.
I mean, yeah, you could stash him, but you
Yeah.
can't play him.
No. I
No,
mean, but like
you
I
can't
wouldn't be
play him
surprised if
over
he has a
Allen
better
Robinson.
output than Allen Robinson in this game. Like
We
right
want
away.
to take that bet.
Sure, it'll be
Okay.
5 to 6 points. 6 points for Van, 5 for Allen Robinson.
Oh man. Okay. Um. Where is this next game? Oh wait, we got a question. CFC is asking, "Yo, do I drop Elijah Mitchell for Michael Thomas?"
Oh
I
yeah,
would.
I would have dropped Elijah Mitchell the moment that CMC trade happened. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I would.
Uh,
I would pick up Michael Thomas for sure and
yeah,
drop
yeah,
Elijah Mitchell.
yeah.
Okay, this next game here, Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. We've got the 3-4 Green Bay Packers traveling to Buffalo to take on the 5-1 Buffalo Bills. This game has a 47.5-point total, where the Buffalo Bills are, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, from a line that I took a few days ago, 10.5-point home favorites. Potential rain in this game. Tre'Davious White, the cornerback who missed, start of the season, he's out of this game. But the fact that he's on the injury report, being reported as out, means that he's making closer to being back in the lineup. For Green Bay, Tipa Galei, the linebacker, he's placed on injured reserve. Rashawn Gary, the linebacker, edge player, pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers, was limited with a concussion. Christian Watson is limited with a hamstring. Alan Lazard, I believe he was listed as out, but he said earlier in the week that he didn't think he was going to be able to go, and he was listed as doubtful. Sammy Watkins, he's limited participant with a hamstring. Aaron Rodgers questionable with a thumb. Bunch of other guys questionable. Aaron Rodgers also called out some teammates. Didn't call them out by name, but said if you keep making mistakes, you're going to have to lose some reps and lose some playing time.
To who? To who? to who? To who? Who else are you putting out there? Like, this is the situation they put themselves in. They have no depth. Like, who are they losing reps to? if I'm on the Packers, I'm like, all right, or whatever. Like, I'm just gonna go out there and still do what I have to do.
I hate the NFL says I think the Packers upset the Bills and win 28-17.
That'd be a nice chunk of change. I mean,
it would.
If I was a gambling man, which I am, I probably wouldn't do. I mean, $5, something like that. It would, but I can't see it, yo. I really can't.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Greg, where are you at with this game?
Yeah, I'm taking the over. I'm gonna take the under. Actually, I'm gonna take 10.5. I think the Pack. Yeah, it's tough. I think actually the Bills cover. I'm not gonna lie. Then the Bills win. This matchup is just not the one. You know how I feel about Rodgers when he's in a bad matchup, when a D line or a defense can really dominate him. He's less mobile, doesn't have any receivers. This could be very ugly. And I think this is one of those ugly matchups. On the Green Bay side, I'm only willing to really start Aaron Jones. If Alan Lazard can go, I'm willing to throw him out there. But if he can't, it's really even tough to make the argument for Romeo Dobbs. So I mean, maybe might throw him out there as a dart throw, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3, maybe in deep leagues. But that's about it. It's gonna be hard for Aaron Rodgers to find time to get the ball out. On the Buffalo side, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary. You're throwing them all out there. And Gabe Davis for sure. Yeah, he's trending up. Hopefully, you get more boom than bust. But I think you can play my here. And Sunday night, possibly a game where the Bills are going to put up a lot of points. So I'm willing to play Gabe Davis for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. Taking Buffalo to cover and Buffalo to win. 10.5 should be easy for Buffalo, right? They're at home. They're coming off a bye. Green Bay's not been good.
No, they're not. They're not a good team. No.
They're not. I mean, what is this? 3? They've lost 3 straight now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just has not been good. I mean, for Buffalo, Josh Allen, he's a top 2 quarterback option this week. Stephon Diggs, a wide receiver 1. Gabe Davis, I have him as a high-end wide receiver 2. He was dealing with the high ankle sprain as well. And has been healthier and is now coming off the bye week, so he should be healthy, good to go. Devin Singletary, this is a great matchup for him. Green Bay allows the 4th most fantasy points to the running back position over the last 3 weeks. I just really need the Bills to give him the football. It's one of the scariest things because Devin Singletary's like, I really want to make him my start of the week, but it's like, are you going to get that work though? Right? Like, so for Green Bay, Aaron Jones is an RB2, period.
Yeah. And even if it's a blowout, then they might just hold Devin Singletary and maybe put some James Cook in there, sprinkle some other action in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it really tough, but the matchup is great. His volume has been good. It's just inconsistent volume, and it's like opposite of the game script you would anticipate. So, let's move on to this last game that we are going to cover, Monday Night Football, 8:15 p.m. We've got the 4-3 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Cleveland to take on the 2-4 Cleveland Browns. This game has a 47-point total, where the Cincinnati Bengals are 3-point favorites on the road. There's rain in this game, potential rain in this game. Jamar Chase, the wide receiver, was placed on injured reserve, so he will be out of this game and out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Hayden Hurst at tight end, he was limited with a groin and an ankle. Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end, is day to day with a neck injury. Wide receiver Stanley Morgan, DNP with a hamstring. For Cleveland, wide receiver David Bell, limited with an ankle. Cornerback Denzel Ward, questionable with a concussion. Tight end David Njoku was listed as out with an ankle. And they've got a bunch of other guys questionable. In terms of this game here, I will take the over. I'm going to take Cincinnati to cover, Cincinnati to win. Actually, I'm going to flip this to the under, no Jamar Chase, so under 47. For Cincinnati, Joe Mixon and RB1. Joe Burrow, he's definitely a quarterback one, like we talked about yesterday. The upside's probably capped a little bit. But Tyler Boyd's going to fill in, see more targets. I think he's a wide receiver one, as is T. Higgins. He's going to be a dominant wide receiver one. Might not even get to have to match up with Denzel Ward here potentially. So definitely good for him. Hayden Hurst, he's a tight end one. For Cleveland, Nick Chubb, I think he's an RB2 for me this week. Cincinnati, they allow the 31st most fantasy points to the running back over the last 3 weeks, or their last 3 games rather. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper, they're both listed, both in line for wide receiver 2 production for me this week. Harrison Bryant, one of my favorite tight end prospects from that tight end class a few years ago, may fill in for David Njoku as a, Njoku's listed as out. So he could be tight end one option here. Cincinnati allows the 12th most fantasy points to the tight end position over their last 3 games.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna still take the over. I'm gonna take Cincy to cover though, and Cincy to win. On the Cincy side, Joe Burrow's been, probably the hottest quarterback in fantasy right now, so you got to keep playing him as such as a QB1. Joe Mixon, RB1, no Jamar Chase. So I think those 2 receivers, T Higgins and Tyler Boyd, will fill in nicely. Won't see the deep down crowding targets, but T. Higgins is definitely capable of getting that, as we were discussing. So I'm playing them with confidence. I agree with you. Both wide receiver one upside. On the Cleveland, and Hayden Hurst, always a great low end tight end one option. Cleveland side, Amari Cooper, I'm playing him with confidence. Nick Chubb, always playing him with confidence. Rumors that also there might be, Cleveland shopping Kareem Hunt, looking to try to get that trade going. But he's been underwhelming this year as well, so he's more of an RB3 for me in this game. Nick Chubb being RB1, and yeah, I'm with you on Harrison Bryant. I think he steps in nicely. He's always been he was part of the reason why Arthur Hooper could never really thrive as fully as true tight end one in Cleveland, because Harrison Bryant was pretty good as well, eating up targets. So I like Harrison Bryant as a tight end one.
Yeah, definitely. I remember, Njoku was hurt during that time. Harrison Bryant was one of those tight end 2. But like you look at the fantasy production and you're like, why am I not playing Harrison Bryant? All right, it's time, man. Let's get into the starts of the week. Greg, your quarterback start of the week, my brother. Let's hear it.
Yes, sir. Going to my guy, Tua Tagovailoa, going against Detroit. I got to get at least one guy against Detroit every week for start of the week. Tua coming back, more healthier. Got his weapons, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I think, he's going to come back to what he was putting up early in the season, which was monster numbers, getting close to 300 yards. Hopefully we can get that in multiple touchdown day. So I like this prospect. I think he gets back on the groove against Detroit.
Yeah, I like this one. I went with Tua last week. Um, didn't have the huge game, but I think his second game back from the concussion
Mhm.
definitely should have a big one here. My quarterback start of the week, I kind of talked about it all week, alluded to it. Greg said don't do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Derek Carr versus New Orleans. Third most fantasy points allowed to the position over the last 3 weeks. Derek Carr is in a really good spot. He's played efficiently these last few weeks as well. Over his last three starts, he's completing 67% of his passes. Um, his pass attempts for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But he might get Darren Waller back this week just in time to face off against again in New Orleans defense that has struggled against the quarterback position over their last 3 games. They've given up at least 17 fantasy points to the position during that time span. I like this spot here for Carr in a game that should have a little back and forth to it.
Yeah, I mean, the matchup is perfect for him. He's, just close. Gotta close. Gotta get it done. That's all I can say. We already said too much. We gotta go. Keep going.
Greg, your running back start of the week this week.
Gotta go with, especially with the news with Zeke being out, gotta go with Tony Pollard. This is a smash spot for him as far as the matchup. It was already a good matchup coming in. Over the last 2 weeks, even with Zeke being there, he's gotten over double-digit carries in both weeks, 11 and 12. Still running at a very good clip. Ran for 6.9 yards per carry last week. I think this is going to be a good spot for him for this offense as well. To hopefully they can get back to that high-scoring offense we've seen over the last couple of years, and that starts with Tony Pollard.
I like that. I like that one for sure. My running back start of the week is going to be Travis Etienne. We saw him get the full workload last week. The results were fantastic, and now he gets a Denver defense that's been struggling against the running back position over their last. Well, they allow the ninth most fantasy points to the running back position over the last 3 weeks, and that actually, going into last week, it was fourth. And we saw Brees Hall rip off a 60-yard run. ETN is capable of doing that as well. Over his last 3 games, ETN is averaging almost 8 yards per rush attempt on an average of 11 rush attempts per game. And that number should continue to rise after seeing a season high 14 rush attempts last week to go along with 4 targets per game during that span. Actually saw 5 targets last week, only caught one of them. So 19 opportunities in his first game as a lead back. Um, in a game which there was some negative game script, I'm expecting ETN to really get it done here this week.
Yeah, definitely got to continue to unleash that man for sure.
Your breakout running back from a year ago, but we
Yes,
never
sir.
saw it to fruition because he had the Liz Frank injury in preseason.
Yep.
Greg, your wide receiver started the week this week.
Yeah, I gotta get some AJ Brown action in here, man. First of all, this man hasn't had more than 5 receptions since week one, man. We gotta see that third 10 for 155 that we saw in week one against Detroit. He's got an excellent matchup against Pittsburgh. They've been horrible against receivers this year, which also is bodes well for Devontae Smith, who I think is a strong play this week as well. But I think they want to establish back who the alpha dog in this offense is. AJ Brown. I think he gets one of those monster games in this matchup.
Don't you hear? Didn't you hear, man? They got no Robins on this team. It's all Batmans.
Yeah,
They're all
man. It's all Batman. After the bye week, I'm hoping he comes out as as Batman. Yeah,
swole Batman. Swole Batman.
full
Um,
Batman.
My wide receiver start of the week this week is going to be the talented rookie out of New Orleans, Chris Olave, going up against Las Vegas. Since week 5, Olave is the wide receiver 14 in PPR points per game. He's absolutely been balling. Over his last 3 games, he's seeing 9 targets per game, averaging 75 receiving yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns. Now he's getting a Las Vegas defense that allows the 7th most PPR points to the position. May still be without Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas this week. Actually, they're both ruled out already. So love his upside and expecting a top 12 finish from him this week.
Yeah, I mean he's been a beast. Whoever, even if all the team is healthy, you're hoping that he just continues his successful rookie year.
Greg, your tight end start of the week this week.
We mentioned a couple weeks ago to if he was dropped, get this man back on your roster. Got to go with Dalton Schultz going against Chicago in that same matchup. I think they establish a run and get Dalton Schultz back involved. Had 5 targets last week. I think they just continue to rev him up for a smash spot matchup here. We know that Dak loves to throw to the tight end position, and specifically Dalton Schultz. And the Bears aren't good against tight ends. I think this is a good spot for this entire offense, and it starts with both Tony Pollard and Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, definitely like that one. We were saying if he was dropped, go get him. I remember saying if he was someone on your someone in your league probably was fed up with him, so to go buy him with Dak coming back. So yeah, I like this one a lot. My tight end start of the week, going with Irv Smith Jr. Irv has pretty much been a floor play this year, but he's got a great matchup here against an Arizona defense that allows the third most PPR points to the tight end position over the last 3 games. And again, he's been solid, but I think this week he's going to have some top 6 upside based on the matchup here.
Yeah, along with Zach Ertz, who's also in the same game, has a smash spot as well. So both those
Correct.
guys have a good
Yeah,
day.
Zach Ertz could legitimately finish as the tight end 1 this week.
Yeah, yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, because I'm playing him in one of my most important leagues. So typically how it goes. Greg, it's time
Yes,
to
sir.
play our favorite game. Some Get Money. And for those who don't know, Get Money is a head-to-head FanDuel contest between Greg and myself. Snake style draft. Once a player is selected, they are removed from the player pool. Greg gets to the first pick in odd weeks. I get the first pick in even weeks. It is week 8. It is an even week. I am 4-3. Greg is 3-4. Who am I going to take with this first pick? And do I want to do this to you? No, you can have them. You can have them. I'm going to take Derrick Henry. My first running back. He's $10,000.
Woo. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just lock in Tony Pollard now, 6,300. I'm putting him in my flex though. I don't know why. I just have him there as far as the lineup. So yeah, I'm sliding him in there.
So did you realize what I was saying? I was like, you can have him.
Was that Tony Pollard?
It was Tony Pollard.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My I also put Derrick Henry in my flex. Whoa, my iPad just like shut off. My my RB2 is gonna be Josh Jacobs.
Love that. Definitely for sure. I'm gonna take at my wide receiver 1. Give me Tyreek Hill, 8,700 going against Detroit.
Okay. I'm gonna take as my wide receiver 1, Chris Olave, my wide receiver start of the week.
Like it. I'm gonna take as my wide receiver 2. Give me Devontae Smith, 6,900. Couldn't afford AJ Brown, so I put Devontae Smith in there. Just good to play.
You scared me. You scared me for a second. I'm just gonna take my wide receiver 2 right now. Is DJ Moore, 6,200.
Tough. That's tough. That's real tough.
Was he in your lineup?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure. Definitely in my lineup. I'm gonna take Alvin Kamara as my RB1, 7,800. Slide him in there versus the Vegas Raiders.
As my third wide receiver, I'm gonna go with George Pickens, 5,500.
As my let's see. Hmm. I'm gonna take at my RB1, Ramondre Stevenson, 8,000, going against the Jets.
I like that one. I like it because I'm hoping that my Jets do me a favor and my tight end, I'm gonna go with Irv Smith. My tight end start of the week. He's 5,000. Like that price a lot.
Word. At my third wide receiver, I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk, 6,700,
That's a good
going
one.
against the Rams.
For my last running back, well, because Derrick Henry's in my flex and Josh Jacobs is my first running back. My second running back is going to be Raheem Mostert, 6,800, going up against Detroit.
My quarterback, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go 7,200. Go pretty cheap. Give me Dak Prescott, 7,200, because it's all I really go for right now.
You said pretty cheap, and
Pretty
then
cheap.
I haven't read my quarterback yet. My quarterback, I'm going Sam Ellinger, $6,000.
Oh man, that's tough. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna take the Houston Titans defense at 3,300 as well.
The Houston Titans defense, you just said?
Houston Texans defense going against the Tennessee Titans. Love it.
Oh man. I'm gonna go the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Pittsburgh at 4,600.
Then on my tight end, I'm gonna take Dalton Schultz, tight end start of the week, 5,100.
All right. Well, I will read off my lineup. At quarterback, I have Sam Ellinger going up against Washington. And I'm going naked Sam Ellinger. No stacks, no nothing. Just
Nothing.
give me his points. At running back, my first running back slot, I got Josh Jacobs, 9,000, going up against New Orleans. RB2, I got Raheem Mostert, 6,800, going up against Detroit. At wide receiver, I've got Chris Olave, my wide receiver start of the week, 6,900, going up against Las Vegas Raiders. Wide receiver 2, I've got DJ Moore, 6,200, going up against Atlanta. At wide receiver 3, I got George Pickens, 5,500, going up against Philadelphia. At tight end, I've got Irv Smith Jr., 5,000, going up against Arizona. In my flex, I've got Derrick Henry, 10,000, going up against Houston. And at my defense, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Pittsburgh at 4,600.
Yeah, I got Dak Prescott, quarterback, 7,200. Ramondre Stevenson at 8,000 at my RB1 spot. Alvin Kamara, 7,800 at my RB2. Brandon Ayuk, 6,700 going against the Rams. Tyreek Hill at 8,700. Devontae Smith, wide receiver 3 at 6,900. Dalton Schultz at my tight end, 5,100. Tony Pollard, 6,300. Flex, and the Houston Texans defense, 3,300 going against Tennessee.
Yep, I like that one. We'll see if Greg can even it up this week, get it to 4-4, or if I can get out to a 2-game lead here. We'll see what happens. Greg, anything you want to say?
Both, New York just keeps riding. The true New York team, the Buffalo Bills, and then the New York Jets and the New York Giants. So there you go.
They basically play in Canada. It's not really. They're closer to
Hey,
Canada
that's
than
New
they are
York.
to New York City.
They're getting a whole new stadium in New York. Like, oh man. Hey man.
Anyways, everybody, hope you enjoy a wonderful football weekend. Hope you are able to enjoy the games. Like I said, I'll be in MetLife this Sunday, aka MetLife,
In New Jersey.
in New Jersey. But yeah, so enjoy the football. Spend time with family. Spend time with your loved ones, and good luck in your fantasy matchups. Hopefully, get closer to being 1-0 every week and closer to that championship. All we gotta do is get to the playoffs, and then anything can happen. So, have a good one, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending this Saturday morning with us. Very much appreciate you. Have a good one. We're out of here. Peace.
Yeah.